This was an easy 5 stars. Hello and welcome to my booktube channel, Jack and the Book Stack, where I talk about a wide variety of book genres and the bookish lifestyle. I'm really going to emphasize that bookish lifestyle in this weekly reading vlog because I am feeling productive. I want to do a productive week, kind of getting back into the routine of things after I just got back from my Caribbean cruise. Right now, as I'm filming this intro, it's a couple days early and I'm still in my couch potato mode. I just want to melt into the couch. But whenever I travel, I get super motivated to get back into my routine. So mentally, I'm motivated. My body will soon follow, and that's when I will start the reading vlog. So I have a lot of productive things planned. I want to get back into the routine of eating healthy, exercising, studying languages, organizing around the house, cleaning, getting things done, running errands. So I'm going to be doing all that stuff this week and reading some books. I'll probably be finishing up some of my nautical reads from my May TBR and then picking up June reads. I'm just going to see where the mood takes me. I don't have anything structured. We're just going to figure it out together. Well, today is Thursday, as you know. It's already been wildly productive today because I worked out before work, which never happens. I just woke up early, feeling great, feeling energized. So I got in that workout this morning. And now that I'm done with work for the day, I wanted to update you on some of my reading before I get into more reading. You saw that I finished Red Seas Under Red Skies, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I've already talked about it in my vlog that I did where I was reading nautical books on my cruise. In that time frame, I read the first half of the book, and so I just had to finish it, but I also talked about it in my monthly reading wrap-up. So I will just say that I loved it, and I loved the intelligence of our characters and how strategic they were. It has a twisty plot because it is about con men and it's like a heist plot. So I love the intelligence behind all that and how their strength is in their brains, not necessarily their brawn. So I like that. I like the banter and the humor of the dialogue. I think that's so fun. It adds to a little bit of a lighter tone, even though some emotional things do happen. Don't get it twisted. But it is like a humorous tone of a book. And Red Seas Under Red Skies is part of the Gentleman Bastard series, and it has some of my favorite fictional characters of all time. The platonic friendship between Locke and Jean is just, it's great. Platonic friendships are underrepresented in books, so I love seeing that. And their friendship is just so awesome. So I loved reading that. And it was actually great to finish while I was also reading A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cooke. This is a horror book that I just finished. I haven't talked to you about it. I meant to do like a check-in of it, but I was rushing so much to finish this so I could film my May reading wrap-up. And so I just kind of powered through. But this one was really heavy. This was about trauma. We follow two timelines, as you saw. We have one character who is reluctantly taken aboard a whaling ship. She's kidnapped. And it was difficult to read because there was a lot of essay, on-page essay, and frequent constant essay. We didn't get into too much detail. Like, it would be like a paragraph long, so I could skip over the on-page stuff. But definitely a trigger warning there, as well as it's a whaling ship. So there are some descriptions of animals being slaughtered, and that was difficult for me. I had to skip over it. But both of those things I was prepared for. So, you know, there's that. So we follow that storyline in 1901, and then we follow a 2003 present day timeline. We follow Dominique, who is going on board this ship. It is now like a ghost ship. It's a shipwreck in Iceland. And she is filming it because it's going to be sunk. So it's like destroyed. And she wants to film it before it's destroyed. And all these creepy things that are happening there. And she's doing it for her TikTok to gain followers. So we follow her storyline. What was so great about this book was the atmosphere. It's blurbed as being a feminist gothic or a modern gothic thriller, and it absolutely is. So gothic literature to me means it's suspenseful, it's mysterious, it's atmospheric, it's very gloomy and ominous. Like, the setting is what makes this book special. Like, you know how we say on booktube a book is plot driven or character driven? For me, this book is neither of those things. It's like atmosphere driven. So I would say it's like slower paced in the plot, because while I was engaged, it's really what was going on in the atmosphere that kept me engaged, rather than like stuff happening or plot twists or anything. And we don't dive too much into like the characters. I didn't feel like that connected with the characters, but I was engaged in like what was going on. So that's not like a criticism. It's just that's where the focus is. I loved being in Iceland. I love the cold setting. I would have loved to lean into that a little bit more and feel more like working against the elements kind of a deal. So it was cold, but like that was about it. But that was interesting. And like, this book is about trauma. This is tough. So I liked reading this with the Red Seas Under Red Skies to like mix it up. And that really kept me balanced. I really liked this book. I just feel like with all the trauma, the revenge that I was promised, like on the inside flap, she's not alone. Something is here with her, and it's seeking revenge. I wanted more emphasis on the revenge, and it was more like retrospective. Like, all this trauma stuff happens and we spend like 300 pages on that, and then the revenge stuff is like, oh, and then the revenge happened and that happened. And I was like, wait, no, I want to be a part of it. I want to like see it, feel it. Like I went through all this and like that's it. I felt a little bit cheated, but I still really liked it. I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen my ranking video yet, but I said I liked this book because I liked the atmosphere a lot. So that concludes my nautical themed books. I'm gonna move on now. And the world is open, all the possibilities, but here's what I think I'm gonna do. So I want to read My Husband. This is by Maud Ventura. I think that's Maud. Translated by Emma Ramadan. This is translated from French, I believe. I heard about this book on the booktube channel. Oh gosh, what's her name? Alexandra Rosalind? Rosalind, I think it's Rosalind. And I love the way that she described this, and I think she rated it 5 stars, but this is about a woman who's obsessed with her husband. Obsessed. And when she was describing it, she was saying like, at first, she seems really crazy. Like the way she's like testing her husband. Like if he doesn't hold my hand tonight in the next couple hours, and that means he doesn't love me. And like she starts off as being really insane. But then Alexandra was saying like by the end, you're kind of like, wait, she might have a point, or she might be more relatable than you originally think. So I'm excited for this, and I got the audiobook checked out from Libby, so that will be my audio option because I do still want to be productive and get things done. So I like that I can switch back and forth between formats. And then I also want to start reading The Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wang. This is often like praised for being a fantastic standalone fantasy and kind of emotional. So I think that'll be good to like balance out tones. I don't know if this is like a satire or not, but that's kind of my assumption is the kind of vibe it is. So I need to balance this with something. What's also great about this is it's all about formats for me. So I have the physical copy, but I also have this checked out on my Kindle. I downloaded it a while ago from Kindle Unlimited because today's Thursday. I want to spend some time out by the pool, and I love taking my Kindle outside by the pool. So I have lots of options. I have physical options, audio, and ebook. So no matter what kind of mood I'm in, I can address that. So I have some great reads, and I'm actually kind of excited. I'm not sick of nautical books, but I'm excited to mix it up. I'm in a mood right now. It's like the opposite of a reading slump. There's so many books that I want to read. I want to read them all right now. Like it's so hard to pick one because I just want to read them all. And it's like analysis paralysis because I don't really know where to start because I just want to read everything, all the things. But I have a lot to do, so I need to be productive too. So I think tonight the plan, I have leftover carne asada from the other night. So I'm going to make some steak salads. And I make like the best dressing for these salads, so I've been looking forward to this dinner. Like when I was making the carne asada a couple nights ago, like I had this steak salad in mind, so I'm so excited to make this. My boyfriend and I are also watching Married at First Sight. It is the San Diego season. I love that show. If you haven't seen it, it's a reality show where people sign up to get married, but they don't meet their spouse until they're at the altar getting married, and then they have 8 weeks to go on a honeymoon and live together and see like if they want to stay married or get a divorce. Such an interesting concept. So we're gonna watch an episode of that, eat a steak salad, and I'll probably pick up one of these books. For productivity, I would like to study some Spanish. I have a tutoring session tomorrow, so I'd like to review the material, practice my flashcards, maybe listen to another chapter of that audiobook lecture that I'm doing. Maybe read another chapter from The Magic Key to Spanish, which you saw me reading. I try to read like a chapter a day at least. It's pretty easy, but this is really excellent. So productivity wise, that's what I'm thinking of, but I don't think I have like any cleaning or housework planned today. I've been like procrastinating it all for tomorrow, Friday, because it'll be lighter workload wise. I usually don't have a whole lot of meetings on Fridays, so it's easier for me to like throw in a load of laundry on a Friday because I'm mostly focusing on like administrative work and like catching up on emails and stuff. So those are my plans. I am so excited. I'm having a lot of fun filming this vlog. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. So I'm just gonna keep going. Just kidding, I can't read quite yet. Speaking of productivity, I need to edit my May wrap-up video. So I need to work on this and get it posted for tomorrow. I have never looked better. Here is the secret salad dressing for my steak salad. I mix together ranch and A1 sauce and then pour it over the steak salad. No measurements, just vibes. Just go with your heart, and it's delicious. You will not regret it. It is going on 8:30 and I have not read a single thing yet tonight because I just finished editing my May reading wrap-up, which took a while. Lots going on there. And then I had to do, obviously, like the thumbnail for it. And I forgot to do my little pie chart. I forgot to include that in my video. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, that's finally done. Productive evening, even if it's not reading. And I haven't even studied Spanish yet. Oh my gosh, I need to study Spanish to prepare for class tomorrow. So this evening kind of got away from me. I just finished the audiobook for my husband. It was super short, so I flew through it, and it was just so incredibly compelling that I didn't want to stop. This was an easy 5 stars. I would recommend this for readers who want a story about like mundane, everyday life. This one particularly is about married life, but we have an unhinged narrator, completely unhinged, which makes this really, really fascinating to read. I was right in my assumptions about this book. So it's about a French woman, and I think she's unnamed. I can't remember her name, but she's 40 years old. She is obsessed with her husband, and she does test him to determine like his love for her. But it goes beyond that. She keeps a notebook of all the things he does to piss her off, and then corresponding punishments that she does to him. And that almost sounds like a plot for a thriller book, but like, let me explain. She gets mad at him, like she gets so worked up in her head because he orders lasagna at lunch. And because they're at a dinner party and the men are like comparing their spouses to fruits, and or just the women, they're comparing the women to fruits. So her husband calls another woman a pineapple, or was it the woman's husband that calls her a pineapple? I don't know. Someone at the table is called a pineapple, but our girl, her husband calls her a clementine. like the little orange thing, and she is furious. She's enraged at this insult. I'm a blackberry, I'm a cherry, and she's like, the way she spirals out of control at this like perceived slight is so darkly hilarious. And so she wants to punish him. So she punishes him by like, I mean, a couple different things. She like won't cuddle with him at night. She won't say goodnight or good morning or whatever. She takes off her wedding ring and leaves it on the sink to display her outrage and anger and, you know, just wait for him to see this and know something's wrong. And I don't know about you guys, but when I get worked up and I do petty little things like that to my boyfriend, thinking that he notices it and like can translate it into me being upset, like, you are out of control. And that was one thing that I kind of could relate to. Like, when I'm mad at my boyfriend for whatever reason, I just become like hyper independent. So like taking out the trash is normally his job. If I'm mad, I'm like, I'm an independent woman, I'll show him, I don't need him, I'm taking the trash out. And he thinks nothing of it. So like I could relate to that, like this little punishment of, you know, trying to show that she's angry. So it's really funny, but then the whole situation just gets a little bit more extreme, and it's so much fun being in her head because she's so insane. And her obsession with her husband is so exhausting. I don't know how she has time for anything else. Well, she doesn't care about anything else. They have 2 kids. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about being a mother because she says it just kind of diluted her husband's attention to her. To then now he's looking at the kids. And so that's how she feels about motherhood. That she's so obsessed, she will record their conversations or like their spats. And she's a teacher. And she teaches, I don't know if it's like French or English, but she teaches language. And so she will bring the recorded conversations to her class and have them interpret the conversations. And then she'll ask her opinion on her conversations with her husband, like to her class without them knowing. And like one student says, oh, well, in my opinion, you know, I don't think the husband loves the wife. And then that makes her spiral because maybe he doesn't love her. It was so good. This is one of these books that I get so excited about. I just want to talk about it, but I can't talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything. I need like in real life friends that have like read this that we could just sit and like have a glass of wine and talk about this because it was so much fun to read. I think this would be great for like a book club or something because it was intriguing. It was really intriguing. The epilogue blew my mind. I was already having a great time. It was a 5-star read throughout the whole experience, but the epilogue, I blew through that audiobook so much faster than I anticipated, so I need to pick another one. So I actually posted on Instagram asking people to vote in a poll of what I should read next on audio. I will post the results right here, but let me look them up. Let's see. Oh, it looks like Black Cake is winning. Which is kind of a bummer because I kind of wanted to read Children of Fallen Gods. This is book 2 in a series. And I really enjoyed book 1. I read it off camera, but I'm going to count it for June. So it'll be in my June wrap up. But I want to continue with the series and hopefully finish this romantasy trilogy in June. But it looks like I am reading Black Cake next. So that will be the next audiobook. And then when I'm ready for physical reading, I do plan on picking up Sword of Kaigen. So I'm just going to keep moving.
lesson, we will listen to one simple story in Spanish. It is perfect for all beginners. We will start by listening to the text with subtitles. Then we'll go through the parts of the text with translation. Finally, we will listen to the text again, without subtitles and without translation, and answer the questions.
Lo logramos. Había una vez una abuela llamada Lily. Lily tenía un gran sueño con...
This filming location is a little bit of a test. I wanted to see how it was like visually, but also like the sound of filming outside. So if it stinks, bear with me, then I won't do it again. But I figured this was a great time to do a little bit of a reading update. I have made it about 20% of the way into the audiobook for Black Cake. It's okay. I don't know how engaged I am in the story. We have two siblings that have kind of had a falling out now that they are adults, but they have come back together since their mom passed away. And their mom left a very long, I think like 8-hour audio recording for them. And they have to listen to it, and they have to listen to it together. And she starts off by saying, I need to tell you some things, particularly about your sister. And they're like, what? We don't have a sister? So it's like going into her life story, and so the audiobook is like flashing back to that now. So we have dual timeline, it sounds like. And I mean, fine. I mean, I kind of like the idea of a parent having a life before being a parent. But there's something about it I just haven't quite connected yet. But we'll see. We'll see where this goes. To me, it just seems like it's gonna be like young love gone wrong or whatever, like burning out, not lasting, or something. We'll find out. I'm still gonna listen to it. So we have that one, and then I am like on chapter 2 of Sword of Kaigen. I started this physically last night, reading it before bed. Now I'm gonna pick up the Kindle version and float in my pool. See, there's my little raft there, so I'm gonna pick that one up. And I like it so far. I'm very intrigued what's going on. We have two perspectives. We have a mother of 4 and her 14-year-old son. And we are introduced to a magic system. It seems like an elemental magic system. And our characters can control ice, it seems like. And so the son is training to be a warrior. The mom seems to have some secrets about her abilities and her past, so I'm interested to learn more about her in particular. And I don't know how old she is yet, but the fact that she has 4 kids is very intriguing to me. I like more mature female characters because they have more history and depth. Like, she has this whole previous life that I'm gonna learn about. So I am enjoying this so far. I'm very interested to see what happens next. I think I'm at like 9%. I don't know, actually. Let me see. Let me turn it on so I can tell you for sure. I think I'm on chapter 2 though. Oh, 6%. That's close. 6%. So I am going to continue reading this now, get some sun, and then I have some really fun plans tonight, kind of like a date night. Okay, hear me out. I am an addict of Gordon Ramsay TV shows. I just love them. And something they always have is like a crispy skin duck. And it seems really difficult to make on these shows because sometimes they don't always do it right. So that's why yesterday I went and I got some duck. Couldn't find it fresh. They say they don't get it that often, but it was frozen. So I got that, and I found a recipe to make it. So I'm gonna try. It could be horrible, but hey, trying a new recipe, why not? I didn't want to overcomplicate things by making a sauce. So I gave my boyfriend a link to like 25 different sauces that pair with duck, and I asked him to pick and prepare the sauce. So he picked one. It's not the one I would have picked, but you know, we'll just go with it. It'll be delicious, I'm sure. So I'm really excited and nervous. We're gonna go wine tasting in a little bit and pick a wine to pair with the dinner tonight. I hope this turns out. I'll link the recipe regardless for you down below for the duck, but also the sauces. Because I don't know, that kind of stuff is just really interesting. Hopefully it turns out and then you'll want to try the recipe. If not, maybe it's just user error. But those are my plans tonight, so I'm gonna get going on the reading and then prepare my culinary adventure.
Are we really gonna pick out a book to read together?
I know. Not a chance.
That's what you said. Do I get to pick out any book?
Boy, not a chance.
Oh yeah.
Here is my Pinterest board for food recipes with some of the research I've done about this duck that I'm going to make tonight. So first of all, have this like visual guide of when it's cooked well. This is the one that I'm going to look at for cooking instructions. So I will be sure to share the link for this because this was very interesting. I also have another resource, and that is this Gordon Ramsay cookbook. So I do have another recipe for pan-seared duck, and the cooking instructions are relatively the same, even if I'm not going to make this sauce. But I did see that there was an interesting tip right here in the cookbook, and I know it's probably too small for you to read, but it's talking about you add the duck breast in a cool pan rather than heating the pan first, like I do with steak. So very interesting to have all these facts to increase the chance of my success tonight. Everyone is going to partake in today's dinner, even the dogs.
My world is faster and faster, the tears and the laughter. I'm here for the ride. Yes, yes, I'm an emotional mess. Yes, but you wouldn't want me any less. Yes, 'cause you know how wild it could get to love an emotional mess. I'm in a trance, spinning out of control. Don't know what this dance is, but at least I'm not dancing alone. All kinds of crazy. You heard what I said. I blame you, lover. I'm out of my head. Some days my fear has me frozen. I'm brave and I'm broken. My soul is wide open.
I'm back. It's Monday. I'm starting a fresh new work week. I feel really motivated and good because it's been a fantastic weekend. Dinner last night turned out great. Like the crispy skin duck, I nailed the crispiness. But I did learn that I'm not so sure if I love duck. I'm not sure if that is the meat for me. And the sauce was actually quite delicious. I think it would be better with a steak rather than the duck. So maybe that even threw me, but like I was eating the duck on its own and just the flavor of it, I'm not sure if I love it. Maybe like a sweeter sauce would change my mind, but there was some kind of like gamey taste to it. I don't know if it's for me, but still really happy that I tried that recipe. And like I said, I nailed the crispy skin. So that was awesome. Now that it's Monday, I don't have a whole lot of plans today. So I think I'm actually going to close out the vlog here. I edit as I go and I'm watching the time of this video increase and like we're at the 40-minute mark. I don't want to make it too long. I don't even know how many people are still watching right now. If you are still watching, can you comment with a sun emoji down below? Because I'm curious how many people hang on this long for vlogs. I know I do for a lot of vlogs. I skip some stuff, but I like longer lifestyle vlogs. So anyways, today, right now is my lunch break while I'm closing this out. After work, I have a Spanish class, and then I want to do some Spanish studying, and then I kind of just want to chill out and watch Married at First Sight again because I'm really into this San Diego season. I don't feel burnt out with productivity. I think it was very successful this week doing like at least one big productive thing a day. And I think that's the best way to stay consistent with being productive. So that was fantastic. So I'm feeling great. I'm really feeling energized going into this new week. Let me wrap up the most recent reads that I have. So I did finish the audiobook for Black Cake. And I told you the synopsis when I was out by the pool. And that's pretty much all I have to say about what it's about. The plot did not go the direction that I was predicting. So that was cool, I guess. Something I like about this is that it's about a family that's originally from the Caribbean. So we're dealing with a Black family, and so there is commentary on race, which I really enjoyed. Some members of the family have lighter skin, some are like mixed race, some are like dark, like the son or the brother, he is darker, and so he's talking about like how often he gets pulled over like for no reason and the hurdles that he runs into at work, even though he's super smart and well qualified, how he gets passed over for positions and like how he deals with that. I loved that commentary. Besides that, there was something about the writing here that did not make me care about any character. I didn't care about the family. I was not emotionally invested. And I think that's because some things that should have been high emotional moments, as the reader, I did not feel a part of. So we're building up to some characters meeting for the first time, and I was really interested in that. And then we just skip over them coming face to face, and we just deal with like an hour or so into their meeting. And I was like, that's weird. And our characters would like reflect back, oh, the meeting was, you know, nervous at first, but then fine. And I'm like, no, I wanted to be a part of it. So I did not care like I thought I should have. So for this one, I start rating my books, all books, at 3 stars. Every book is given a 3-star on page 1, and then it goes up and down depending on my enjoyment. I would knock this to a 2.75 because it was fine, but I can't think of who I would recommend this for. So I'm even debating if I would say I like it or disliked it because it was just fine, but I'm struggling to identify the right reader for this. So there was Black Cake, and then I was surprised to find that Libby gave me my audiobook Hold for the Wager. This is one I started in May for my nautical themed reading month, but I was struggling a little bit in the first third with how dry it was. And at 30% of the way into this read, no shipwreck, mutiny, or murder had happened. And so I was like, what the heck? I still wanted to give it a try, but I decided to wait for the audiobook, and Libby did come through for me. I'm really glad that I decided not to DNF the wager and to continue with it in a different format. Audio worked a lot better for me, and also just moving past the first third worked because this other stuff did happen in the rest of the book. And this, I was hoping would be a story, like a survival story, and really this group of castaways battling the elements, but it focused a lot more on human behavior and how people react to really extreme circumstances and the darkness of it. And what was interesting to me, I think this group of people, they're from England, and so how determined they were to uphold like, what is it, naval law, nautical law, marine law, whatever the law of the land is. Like, they were taking account of all the decisions that they made so they would hold up in court. And I'm like, look, if I am stranded on a deserted island and I'm trying to find food and water, the last thing I care about is politics. But this was super important to them, and like how they made their decisions, how they had their hierarchy of like decision making and who was in charge. But you know what? Maybe they weren't so far off with that, because for people that made it home, that stuff became kind of important. So I'm glad I stuck with this. This still kind of landed at a 3 or a 2.75 just because it was so dry in the beginning and hard to get into. So I think it's really the writing style that made this difficult for me, even though the story is very interesting. And again, I want a deserted island story with castaways focusing more on survival in the elements. But you know, whatever. It's in the title. It's about, like, humans. So I guess it's not the book's fault. So I didn't get to read too much of Sword of Kaigen yesterday because I was focusing on those audiobooks. But I am 20% of the way in, and I am loving this. I'm at a part now where the mom, we are flashing back to when she was like around 14, and she's such a little badass. So I love hearing about her past, and some stuff has been dangled in front of us of her past and her capabilities and stuff. And so that's really interesting. And then her 14-year-old son, he met like this new student who's from outside their kingdom and came in, and he's giving him a whole new perspective on stuff, and he's brought proof. So our boy is confronted with the fact that his whole life might be a lie. His government might be lying to him. Surprise, surprise, right? So they are on this like secluded island, and their whole society is built around being warriors and protecting the kingdom and the emperor. And this new student comes in and says, yeah, he wants you to believe all this stuff so that you won't question him and you'll just fight and die for any reason. And comes with all this proof that the history may not be what they all learned about in school and stuff. So these revelations are very interesting. I'm enjoying this and how our boy is dealing with it. Something interesting about this book is that it's kind of modern times. This new student, he mentions that like in his old life where he lived before, he liked to play video games. and there's conversations about airplanes and like a communication device. So I thought this was like historical fantasy, but I think this island is just so secluded and they're very traditional that maybe they don't have as much technology. I think they are aware of what the technology is, they just don't use it because they are much more traditional and they fight with swords and, you know, their abilities and stuff. So I am really, really intrigued, and I'm definitely enjoying savoring this one because there is a lot to keep track of. It's a little bit more complex in terms of like everything has its own unique name or word. Like their units of time are not minutes and hours. It's their own words. And I think this is like Asian inspired. I don't know if it's Japanese. I think it's Japanese because they're talking about like kimonos and stuff. And so the language, like the words they chose are not, you know, they're different. They're very unique. So it's a little bit more complex. There's more to keep track of. So I am enjoying taking my time and savoring this. So I am in no rush to read this. And I love having 2 formats because that is very, very helpful for me because I am a mood reader for like genres and tones, but also like the format of the book, if that makes sense. So anyways, I think that's what I'm gonna focus on next. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this weekly productivity vlog. Like I said, wildly productive, and the key is not to burn yourself out. Mix relaxing and fun times with the productivity and the adulting, and I think that is the key to making it work. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next vlog.